Hi, welcome to the Lisa Saunders Show, and I'm Lisa Saunders. And today I have somebody pretty young on my show, but not inexperienced. Anyway, Brett Evans, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you, and I actually know you on a personal side.
Yes, you do.
Now, you at one point were chubbier, I should say.
I was.
Okay.
A bit, yeah.
All right. Now, we're on here to talk about the fact that you are now a personal trainer, right?
Correct, yes.
And you actually have a lot of experience, on top of the fact you're being educated
Correct.
On that. But I'm kind of curious, how much weight have you lost?
Currently to date, I've lost 70 pounds.
70?
Yes.
I didn't see you then at your heaviest. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And is what you learned about weight loss and fitness why you got into this new career?
No, it was a person that made me get into it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a buddy that made me get into, well, he actually made me lose weight to begin with.
Uh-huh. How did he make you?
Well, how he made me lose weight. All right, well, first it has to start with how we met.
Okay.
And I used to live over in New London, and I lived in a 3-story building. He was my downstairs neighbor. I didn't know him yet. And I was working on one of my bicycles outside. And
Bicycles like with real wheels that goes. It's not like a stationary bike.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. I was working on my bicycle out there on the balcony, and I dropped one of the pieces downstairs. And I contacted the office of the apartment complex, and I said, hey, I don't know this guy. Can you contact him, let him know I dropped the piece down there? And they said, yeah, sure. So he comes out onto the balcony, looks upstairs, sees the bicycle. Little did I know, this guy was also a cyclist.
Ah, okay.
So he came upstairs and we started talking, and I was 240 pounds at the time, so I wasn't a cyclist, and he was. And you know, he's like, hey, let's go out for a ride. And I'm like, we'll go. And you know, he'd leave me on the hills, and you know, I'd have to catch up to him. And eventually I started leaving him on the hills, and
wow.
I lost 70 pounds. And
70 pounds. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big, I mean, I'm struggling to lose my a couple pounds, and I have about 30 to go. Did you lose 70 from bicycling or diet
I lost 70 pounds from doing a mixture of cycling, the gym, and a healthy diet.
Okay.
So I can't really say it's from one or the other, but most of it was from cycling.
Because you're kind of fairly fanatic about cycling,
Yes.
right? So you
Yes.
started just with a bike,
Right.
and now you're actually very serious about
Yes.
biking.
Yeah.
What's the longest bike ride you've ever gone on?
To date, I want to say 85 miles.
85 miles? How
Yeah.
long did it take you to do that?
85 miles would have been about 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Wait, is that possible? Is that
Yeah.
even humanly possible?
Yeah, a 100-mile ride is usually about 5.5 hours. So
You're kidding me.
yeah, take an hour off of that for the 15, and you're at about 4.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So do you ride every day still, or how often do you ride?
I ride daily. How much I ride daily differentiates.
Right.
So like today, I've put in about 21 miles so far.
So far?
Right.
No, but you showed up to the studio in a car.
I did show up in a car, but around 10 a.m. this morning, I was on a bicycle.
Okay, now how does that work? Is you're a new dad? So how do you have
Yeah.
time for all this?
I make time.
You make time. So
Yeah.
this is just something that you're committed to.
Right.
And then you started seeing this as a career, your commitment.
Right.
How did it feel to lose that weight?
It feels good. I lose weight every day. You know, the truth is that we're never at the most fit we ever can be. We're always, you know, going to be losing weight, or always going to be changing our body composition.
Or gaining it.
Or gaining, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
You're
So
always...
no matter what, you're always going to be reaching your next goal. And I always have a goal in place to reach, and it feels good to get there every time. You know, and when I step on the scale in the morning and I see a difference, I'm like, wow, it feels good.
Well, you're also buff too. You're not
Right.
just, I mean, it's not like you're skinny from
Yeah.
starving and riding a bicycle.
Yeah, the hoodie doesn't exactly give me the best look, but underneath I'm 12% body fat.
Okay, I don't know anything about body. That must be good, right?
12% body fat would be considered lean.
Okay.
Somebody under that would be, you know, you'd be entering into like an athlete, you know what I mean? So like people that are bodybuilders, they usually have about 5%.
Oh, wow.
People who are cyclists usually have about 5%, like professional cyclists, not like me. I'm far from being professional. But somebody who's 12% would be considered of, you know, a lean athletic build.
Now, this has become such a part of your life that you want to share it with others, right?
I do, yes.
And that's why you started your business. It's called Performance, Health, and Fitness.
Correct,
right?
yes.
Okay, and what do you do for people?
So we offer a variety of different things that we do. So personal training being the main thing.
So what does that mean to be? What does it mean to? Because people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have a personal trainer." I'm thinking, what does that mean?
There's a couple different kinds of personal training services. You know, you have different levels. At the level that I'm at, you know, first session, you'd come in and we'd have a conversation. We'd get to know each other, talk a little bit, figure out your background, and really just, you know, communicate and build a rapport. Second session would be like, you know, doing a comprehensive assessment, figuring out, you know, what your medical history is, you know, what your current physical standing is, what your fitness level is, you know, doing blood pressure, heart rate, stuff like that. And I would take that data, and on our third session, we would work on building a workout program for you. So that's what, you know, a personal trainer is. We break things down on a personal level. We really get to know you specifically, and no program works the same for anybody. Anybody that's going to tell you do this, do that, it's not possible.
No,
you know?
so do you give diet advice as well?
Yes, so I do actually specialize in nutrition as well.
Oh, okay.
Nutrition, that's a little bit more in depth because I can't just, you talk to somebody on the phone and say, hey, do this. There's a lot of risks involved with that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So for nutrition, I would sit down with the person or the client and we'd talk about, you know, what their medical diagnoses are, figure out if they're suffering from, you know, things like diabetes mellitus, or what their risks are for cardiovascular disease, stuff like that. And you know, we'd look at what have they tried in the past, you know, and really break down what nutrition they need more than others, and really help them understand how to read nutritional labels at the grocery store, how to grocery shop in a way that's going to be the healthiest for them.
All right, now I want to know what worked for you, because since you lost so much weight, that's the first. When I see people that have lost a lot of weight, what worked for you?
So the truth is, a lot of people will try to sell you exercise, exercise, exercise. But the truth is, and we know this is a scientific fact, that our health comes from what we eat. And now there's no way of saying a certain specific percentage, but they say around 70% of our health is from the kitchen. So for me, I found that when I go to the grocery store, I stay out of those middle aisles. I start where the dairy is. I don't eat dairy myself, but I start in that section, and I walk around and I go around the edges of the store. So I shop in the fish department, the meat department, and the produce section. I also eat nuts and seeds and stuff like that. So
is that what you like when you're hungry? If you can't get to a kitchen, I mean, is that your go-to food? Or?
Nuts and seeds? No. To a certain degree, yes. There's a suggested amount of nuts and seeds that you're supposed to eat on a daily basis, because some of them can contain some substances that can be considered poisonous at higher levels.
Like soybeans, right?
Almonds have a chemical in them that our body converts to cyanide. It would take a lot of almonds to do harm, but it's not, an ounce of almonds a day is considered heart healthy. So an ounce of nuts and seeds is what I stick to. When I want a snack, on the other hand, I usually eat a banana, orange. If I'm out cycling. So
you're not like on a no-carb diet, I mean, because you're eating
No,
fruit.
no. We need a balance.
Right.
We have to have our proteins, we have to have our fats and carbs. Our lipids are the fats. But we have to have these things. You can't, starving yourself from these nutrients it's going to be detrimental to your health.
Well, how do you feel about rice and bread? I mean, everyone's talking low-carb diet, diet. What do you think?
So carbs aren't just in breads and rices and pastas. You can get your carbs from vegetables. There's veggies with high carbs.
Right.
So pasta, rice, I usually stick away from. I do occasionally have some bread.
Do you go to whole wheat bread, or is it so rare that you have bread that you're like, oh shoot, I'll get the kind I want? Or...
It's very rare, so I just get the kind that I want.
Now, because I've seen you at potlucks.
Yes.
And tell me because I find it very hard to go to a potluck when there's desserts all over. And if I go to one of these networking parties, they always serve those little puffy, like puff pastry things.
Yeah.
I love those. But what do you do to not go crazy when you go to these things?
Well, so there's something that I always keep in the back of my head, and that's on an average, each human has about 100 different common foods that they eat on a daily basis. It's very common for people to eat the same thing. And a lot of emotion gets put into what people eat. So people, they used to grow up eating something, so they'll eat that thing, or they really enjoy this, so they'll eat that. The way that I consume my food, or the way that I consume my nutrients, because that's really what food is I remember that that's all it is. Food is energy. Food allows me to live. Instead of living to eat, I eat to live. So that's what I keep in the back of my mind. Food is a nutritional value. It has...
So you don't I look at it as recreation. You don't look at it like that. You try to look at it, oh, this is good because it's gonna be nutrition for me.
Correct.
So you've changed your mindset.
Right, and that's what it takes. You have to change it.
Wow.
Fit is not a destination. It is absolutely a way of life. You have to change the way you do things, the way you live, and the way you think. That's what you have to do.
Well, like I said, it must work. You're a good test. Do you have like a before and I should have asked you for one.
I do have a before and after picture.
Oh shoot! I should have. I should have shown it.
Yeah.
Next time you're on somebody's TV show,
bring it.
Ask them. Well, you send the JPEG advance and they can flash it, but because that's really a stunning weight loss.
Right.
And I see how concerned you are when I see you at a potluck. You're sitting there, I'm not going to eat that. Whereas I think, oh, I don't want to hurt how do you deal with that? Because I don't want to hurt the hostess's feelings if she slaved on baklava and I'm not going to eat it. What do you do? How do you handle that?
Well, I know this is going to sound a little on the cold side, but other people's emotions shouldn't play into what you do.
Right.
So
I have to think this way. Keep going.
Yeah. While it may hurt their feelings, your health is more important than, say, somebody else's emotional being.
Wow.
So you have to, a lot of people have the difficulty putting themselves first, and you have to put yourself first. And, it doesn't mean burning people but that means really taking your health and your weight serious enough where you become the priority.
So do you tell people in advance, I follow a very strict, if you're going over to their homes, do you say I follow a very strict diet? Do you mind if I bring my own food? Or do you just hope that you can find something that you can eat? Or
in all honesty, it happens so rare that I actually go over people's houses to eat food with them that I usually just eat what they're eating.
Okay, so you decide when you can take a break. I think we kind of covered what made you want to go into personal training. Would you say it was that male friend of yours that mentored
for sure.
you?
Yeah,
he's not a personal trainer.
No, he's not. But it's just, I don't know, him and I going to the gym together, cycling together, doing mostly everything together and getting in shape. It made me really see, I go to the gym and I see people at the gym and I'm like, man, they really could use some help. And I'm like, I'm that guy. I could be that guy to help them. I see people that are struggling to lose weight, and I see people, make mistakes at the gym where they can end up hurting themselves, and it's like, I don't want that to continue to be an issue. Obesity is at a maximum right now, and that's unfortunate, and coming from being obese, it's a thing that really sucks, and I just want to help people get to that weight that either they want to be or that they should be. You know what I
seem like
mean?
a compassionate person.
Yeah.
Because usually I think people that work hard at staying trim aren't always compassionate in my mind, because I hear them, that person's such a fat slut. They don't say that, but I always feel comfortable around really skinny people because they can't help being skinny.
Right.
'Cause I figure they're not going to judge me because they're going to think, oh, she can't help it.
Right.
But you're actually somebody who's really fit and works at it, but it seems like you have compassion because you know the emotional side of eating.
Yeah. When I was at 240 pounds, I was not...
So what do you weigh now?
I weigh 170.
Okay.
So at 240 pounds, I was extremely unconfident with myself. I couldn't take my shirt off anywhere. If I went go swimming, you know, I kind of had my head down a little bit. You know, I didn't want people looking at me. I just felt so self-conscious. And as I've lost weight, I've become more and more confident. I start to, you know, lift my head up more.
You know, your head's really high. And this is the first time you being on TV, and I would think you've done it all your life. So this confidence is really working for you.
But it's just, you know, coming from being unconfident and being heavy, and then coming down and being confident and not heavy, I want the people that are where I was to be where I am now. And it's really, really, really hard to say one day, I'm going to do it, and actually stick to it.
Right.
And I want people to be able to stick to it, so that's why I'm in the business of personal training, to help people really lose that weight and gain that confidence that they really want to have, and that they just are having difficulty doing. So.
Well, you're a compassionate person. I think that's part of it, and that you know where they've been. And it sounds like your education is phenomenal.
Right.
I'm hearing you talking about lipids and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
don't even know what those are, but that sounds important.
Lipids are just fats. It's a scientific way of saying fats. That's all.
So, like, to measure somebody's body fat, does that mean you grab a hunk of their fat and put a little tape measure on it?
So to measure somebody's body composition, it's actually a relatively complicated process. It depends on their body composition currently. So say somebody, for me example, you would use skin fold calipers, you would use potentially bioelectrical impedance. In short terms, that just means that it sends electrical currents through your body, and our body just receives those electrical currents differently. So like, you know, if you step on a scale with bioelectrical impedance built in, what happens is electrical currents get sent through, and our muscles, our bones, and our fat all react differently with those electrical currents. So the scale is able to read it and say, this might be what your body comp is. To get a more accurate measurement, like I was saying, skin folds, you would do circumference measurements. You would take all those measurements that you gain throughout the body, and you would use an algorithm to figure out what the body fat percentage is.
Now, are you hard on your mom and your wife as far as what they eat? Like, do you?
Yeah.
Are you, or are you just compassionate, or do you figure, how does that work?
I'm not hard on them. I try to be, but my wife, you know, she's kind of the head of the household, so she kind of makes her own decisions, and I just can't seem to get her to listen to me in any sort of way, so I'm usually the one listening to
well,
her.
Your family's always the toughest.
Yeah, so...
They're the toughest clients, because my husband tries to politely say, Lisa, do you really want to eat that? And sometimes, sometimes I get really mad when he says that, and other times I'll say, no, I don't really. So that's the only thing I'll let him say when he can tell I'm getting out of control.
That's funny.
So you don't, is that a thing of the past that you'll go to the store and buy a bag of cookies and eat it?
Oh, no, I don't ever buy cookies.
Okay.
I do buy crackers sometimes.
Okay, so that's what your big cheating thrill is, a cracker? Or?
No, I'm going to be 100% honest. My big cheat is ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What kind do you like?
My favorite is probably mint chocolate chip.
Oh, okay.
But I don't do that all the time.
Right. So how often do you allow, is there like okay, I can, once a week I can do this, or is it looser than that?
All right, so the way that I view it is, instead of saying a cheat day, like some people will have like a cheat Friday or a cheat Tuesday, I say a cheat snack or a cheat meal, because once you have a cheat day, then your next day becomes, you're not going to continue what you're doing the day before that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I always do a cheat snack, and it's usually once a week. So I don't pick a particular day. I just, whenever I want that cheat snack, and I only do it once a week. Once I use it, I can't use it for the next 7 days.
Now, we went out for Amanda's birthday.
Right.
We all went to have ice cream afterwards.
Yes.
Or frozen yogurt.
Yep.
Did you have some?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so did you say to yourself, okay, this is my fun for the week? Because what if it was somebody else's? What if it was my birthday the next day and I said, Brett, we have to go out and get ice cream. What would you have done?
I'm not going to lie, probably would have had the ice cream.
But then you just maybe would have worked out a little more.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, but the hard thing is that a lot of dieters feel like I cheated, I'm a failure, and then they just start eating everything in sight.
Not.
So is that what you try to help people do? Is say, don't be.
Yeah.
You didn't fail. You
No.
just made a decision to do this. So I mean, how do you do that mental thing that?
Yeah. So, you're not a failure if you cheat. Everybody cheats in every aspect of life. It's just a fact, you know. Like, but what I do and that I try to get other people to do is count your calories. That's the best thing you can do.
Okay. And you can do that on your phone.
Right.
Now.
There's
Apps
all
make it
kinds
so
of free
easy.
apps.
Yeah.
You can download MyFitnessPal. That's like the best way to go. And it's completely free. All you have to do, if you have something, say with a barcode like meat or something, you can scan it and it'll automatically upload it. And you know, you just like your calories are the most important thing. You know, you have your nutrition, your nutrients, but if you just count those calories and you burn more calories than what you consume, you're gonna be good. You know, it's like when I said I put in 21 miles today so far. That equivalents to like 1,100 calories burned.
Wow.
So
For biking.
for cycling. So I burnt about 1,100 calories within that 21 miles. So now I know, okay, I can eat 1,100 calories and I'm not going to gain anything. Because we burn on an average about 2,000 calories a day.
Who's we? Men or women?
Just people in general. We burn on average about 2,000. That's why the ADA or the American Dietetic Association recommends that we consume 2,000 calories a day. So if you say you burn 500 calories in the gym, that now means that you've burnt 2,500 throughout the day. That means you can eat 2,500 and nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. You're not going to gain weight. You're not going to lose weight.
Do you do the thing with the steps on your phone?
I do. I don't necessarily track steps as much as I track exercise.
Because for you, you probably don't take that many steps because you're bicycling all the time. So you're not the type that needs to worry about steps.
Yeah. Actually, on average, I take less steps than the average American does a day.
I would think so because you bike everywhere.
Yeah. So on an average, they say people walk anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 steps a day. There's no way to really gauge that number exactly, but that's the range of an estimate. I probably walk about 3,000 a day. But that's because I'm spending hours on my bicycle.
Right.
So, and even if you are walking, it's just not a reliable thing to track, really.
Right.
Because how do you calculate how many calories you're burning during that activity?
So this is something you daily think about: is how many calories am I burning, either through cycling or when you lift weights? Is that burning calories?
Yeah, it's not burning a very large amount, but it's burning some.
And don't you burn more efficiently or something if you're more muscular? I don't know if I'm...
Technically speaking, yes. But it depends on... calories come from 3 different things. You have carbs, protein, and lipids. That's where your calories are. So each of those 3 different nutrients gets used in a different part of the body. So certain types of lipids, and then you have your carbs and proteins. Yes, being more muscular, you're going to burn those calories better, but it really depends on the specific kind of nutrient.
Now, where do you work with your clients? Like,
so we have, so I have an assessment room at my house. Clients can also opt to train at their house or apartment. And then the other option is training in the gym that they are already associated with.
Okay. So what, you just stand next to them, do another push-up? Or like, how does that...
No, not quite. It's actually a misconception. A lot of people think that personal trainers are going to push them past what they can do. But we really get to know the client and really break down and figure out, do they want to be pushed really hard, or do they want a training program that's going to be, kind of at their speed, and we do really whatever the client wants us to do.
Do you try to find an activity that they would enjoy?
Yes.
Because it's probably a big component. Because I want to get together with people over dessert and have fun. You know what I mean? But I probably need to start getting. I do occasionally get together with friends to go for a walk, but I know I need to find ways of socializing that don't revolve around sitting there endlessly eating.
So when we go through the first session, we actually talk about, what do you enjoy, what has worked in the past, and try to figure out either a specific exercise or a specific recreational or hobby activity that you would enjoy. How often do you see
a client? Like, is it?
It depends.
Okay.
So right now I have a few that I'm seeing. It's kind of complicated.
Does it depend, or like?
It depends. Like some clients want to be seen 2 times a week. Some want to be seen like every 2 weeks.
Oh,
some
so
want to
there's
be seen.
flexibility. You don't have to say, oh gosh, I just don't have time to have a personal trainer meet with me twice a week.
Right.
They can say, Brett, I really would like to work with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of flexibility.
It's a complicated question.
Okay, so it's a lot of flexibility. What works for them.
Right.
And you said you'll travel up to 100 miles?
100 miles, yes.
Okay. On your bike? Now, would you go on a bike ride with somebody?
Absolutely.
So if somebody said, I would love for you to be my trainer, but I want to just ride bikes with you.
Absolutely.
So you would do the exercise with them. Like you wouldn't just stand there saying, do it.
If somebody wants...
You want to do it with you? You're
Absolutely.
sure. Because then you're thinking, great, I'll burn even more calories.
If somebody wants to be a track racer, I may not be able to keep up with you, but I will try,
Okay, so they could have a buddy in you, like an exercise buddy.
Absolutely.
That wouldn't cancel on them all the time because they'd rather eat bonbons.
Yes. Right.
They'd be your client. So.
Yeah, I actually do offer right now a hiking session specifically,
Oh, that's a great. So this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So like you have different exercise type things that people could join you on.
Yeah, all
that's
kinds.
Wonderful. All right, we only have 2 minutes left. Is there something you wish you had said?
No, I think we covered it.
All right. Well,
mostly.
So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Phone.
Okay.
Phone and email's best way.
Okay.
They can also go right on my website.
Now, is your phone number also a text
Absolutely,
thing?
yes.
Okay, so you're reachable by text.
Yep.
Okay.
They can email me, but they can also go on my webpage. Okay. There's a way to contact me on there as well. They can also talk live to an agent, and on top of that, they can book with me directly on the website.
Well, I'm real proud of you. Thank you so much for coming on my show, Brett.
Thank you.
That was great. Wow, that was a firm handshake. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Lisa Saunders Show, and I'll see you next week.